7 years ago, on a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, there is a brand new attempt to break the video game movie curse, and this time around it is based on an incredibly popular franchise. Now, Warner Brothers kind of screwed the release over here in the UK. It was all set to be released this Friday, and then for whatever reason they just pulled it last minute, so I said sod it, got a VPN, so I could sit and watch Mortal Kombat. We meet Cole Young, an MMA fighter who joins forces with Jax, Sonya Blade, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Kano to work alongside Raiden to defend Earthrealm. Mortal Kombat has had a bit of a rocky past with its live-action adaptations. The original, that came out in 1995, whilst far from terrible, I actually kinda find a fair bit of enjoyment watching that film, and also, it gave us one of the greatest theme tunes of all time. The sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation... Fuck you.
The Earth was created in 6 days, so too shall it be destroyed.
Mother, you're alive. Too bad you will die.
As long as the portal remains open, your world becomes my world.
It's just one of the worst films of all time. But the trailer for this new remake looked incredibly promising. They were going for the adult rating, there were going to be fatalities, a lot of violence. Everything was pointing towards this movie being kind of cool. So it's unfortunate that I have to say that I felt very let down with this Mortal Kombat. I did not think that it was a well-made movie. Now, it starts off quite strong. We see a hint at the rivalry between Hanzo Hasashi and Bihan, otherwise known as Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and it was a great opening. There's cool action, and these two characters are arguably the most interesting in the entire Mortal Kombat catalogue. Joe Taslim, star of my favourite action movie of all time, The Raid, he plays Sub-Zero, and it is pitch perfect casting. And director Simon McQuoid lets Taslim does what he does best, and that is craft some amazing fight sequences. And they do Sub-Zero right. He feels like a genuine threat whenever he shows up. As for Scorpion, don't get your hopes up. Hiroyuki Sanada is, again, perfectly cast, but he is hardly in the movie. If you're hoping for some badass Sub-Zero Scorpion confrontations, this film is not going to whet your appetite. Like Sanada though, there were some amazing casting decisions. Mechad Brooks did a great job as Jax. He felt like he was ripped straight out of the games. Cabal rocks up and he was pretty cool. Liu Kang and Kung Lao made for a good, if somewhat brief pairing. But the true star of this show was Josh Lawson as Kano. Now, Kano is this brutish, foul-mouthed Aussie wanker, and Lawson has that down to a T. Kano, for me, has always been one of the more uninteresting characters in the games, but Lawson took this character and ran with it. He gets some cracking one-liners and is exactly what the tone of this movie should have been, because tone is my biggest critique with this film. Mortal Kombat is a silly game. It is mindless entertainment, and I say this as a big fan of the franchise. When the best path to win is to randomly smash every button on your controller, to beat the shit out of your controller, that's when you know you don't need to really take it seriously. And that's the issue. This movie takes itself way too seriously. The time when it lets its hair down and has fun, predominantly with the character of Kano, it's entertaining, it's fun to watch. But sadly, the screenplay chooses to suffocate itself by over-explaining the lore of Mortal Kombat to the point where it isn't fun to watch anymore. There's also another aspect that I can't mention right now because it contains spoilers, so what I'm going to do is, after I've given my grade, I'll then flash up a spoiler warning and I can really get into it because it pissed me off. So because of all of this, so many of the characters aren't given backstory. They don't have any development within the film itself. I feel like if you're not a fan of the video games, or at least you're quite well versed in the video games, you're gonna get lost, and I don't think that's fair. I watched it with my dad, and I was constantly having to explain who the characters were and their kind of allegiances, because the script did such a poor job. Cole Young is an entirely new addition, but he's such a bland protagonist who is given the bare bones of a character and nothing else. Louis Tan, who plays him, seems like a great guy, but there's nothing in the material that he can work with, and it ends up becoming a very one-note and kind of dull performance. Chin Han didn't work for me as Shang Tsung, and Tadanobu Asano as Raiden I thought gave a very flat performance too. On the upside, Techno Syndrome does get a bit of a modern update by composer Benjamin Wolfish, and it slaps f***ing hard. You listen to that song in the gym, you are going to feel like you can take on the world. It's all such a shame, because I think Mortal Kombat has plenty of potential, and there are flashes of greatness here, but flashes aren't enough. The overall action scenes do deliver, but because of my lack of investment in the story and the characters, it's difficult to care. I'm not totally opposed to a sequel, but if that goes ahead, there needs to be some major improvements. Overall, I'm going to give Mortal Kombat a 4.5 out of 10. Right, so spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen Mortal Kombat yet. Thanks for watching the video, but I need to discuss this. Okay. There is no Mortal Kombat. The entire premise of the video game, the main reason that you are probably wanting to watch this film, it doesn't feature in the film. Instead, they're just dancing around this tournament, trying to basically make it not happen, and then kind of set up and tease a sequel that all may eventually happen in the sequel. This entire film is basically a trailer for the sequel, and as soon as that dawned on me, I almost completely checked out. Really, really grinds my gears when films do that. But anyway, those were my thoughts on Mortal Kombat. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, I want to know, have you played Mortal Kombat before? If so, who is your go-to character? For me, it was always Kung Lao. He had the best and most violent fatalities when I started playing the game. And he was a character that I learned all the special moves, I learned all the combos. If I was going up against someone, I would be Kung Lao. But as always, thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.